your lies. They're going to soak all this up. Then when they go to school or around other people and they're going to start spitting it back out, then you want to go and say, well, where they picked this up at? No, at home. From who they've been listening to the most and who they've been paying attention to the most. So we have to really be careful when we're talking to children that age, and what that can do, that can ruin them going into the next classes and grade levels, things like that. So as adults and and parents, a lot of times we want to put everything on the parents, but now the Bible said that 22:6 in Proverbs said, it didn't say parents, it just said bring up a child. It didn't say anything. It's about parents at that point. If you're an adult around some children, you need to teach the children. It's your responsibility to help. It's going to take more than one person, because some of these parents are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. They're up all night. They just wore out just to try to keep a roof over their head for some of these children. And then we want to expect the children to be ace children. But we got all enough time that we could get the children, take them somewhere, get them a good hot meal, and take them back home or whatever. We just got to get better in helping the whole body of Christ. And that's going to start with verbal communication. If nobody knows, sure. It's just a word to them. It's just a word. And like I said, they're going to be attentive. They're going to remember it. And if you hadn't caught it, he would have took it all over the place, the church, the school, and everywhere, talking to the preachers. You just blowing it out because it's just a word. It's just. But sometimes we just think that the kids are going to be able to separate the stuff. They're going to be able to separate my foul language and my mispronounced words, and they're supposed to be able to just grasp hold onto it, and once they get 9, they're supposed to be able to understand the difference. No, you've already implanted this stuff in their minds, and this is why some of our children have learning disabilities. It's not that they can't learn. You got them off onto a bad start. And now they have to unlearn all this old stuff that they done heard around the house, all these slang words we use, all these different words that ain't even in the dictionary, but now everything in the dictionary. They add 1,000 words a year to the dictionary. So now everything that people say is in the dictionary, so now they want to try to use it, but it doesn't work that way in the business world. You're going to have to be able to communicate with people in order to get jobs and keep jobs. And don't look crazy, because they will get rid of you really fast. Chick-fil-A is good at hiring people who can talk to you. When you go to some of these other places, man, it's anybody ever been to Howard's? Woo-wee! I called that man place one day, Howard. Is he still there? I hope so. Man, that was the worst customer service I ever seen in my entire life. Okay, woo. The thing is, he runs his communication and the way his customer service is. Nobody wants to go back. But if you, but in his whole staff is like that. It wasn't just him; it was everybody. So if it starts from the top, and it's going to just float on down to the bottom, and that's why they're probably not there anymore. It's probably. Is it still Howard's? Oh. Right. Sunday morning. Well, this is what will happen to your business if you don't have good customer service skills. And this is another reason why Chick-fil-A just booms and grows so much, because they are attentive to your needs. I mean, they'll come back to you. They'll ask you, man, if you wait 2 or 3 minutes, they're going to come and explain to you why you're waiting and all this type of stuff. So that stuff, it really helps. But when we get to our children, we got to make sure our children, like Sister A said, we can't lead them around everybody. You just can't. You got to daycares and having people babysitting your children. You have to know who's watching your child. Because once they learn these words, it's pretty hard for them not to say it no more. And if the more they get the chance to say it, they might not say it around you, but they practicing it over here all the time. And so the older they get, the more that word is going to be more of a dominating word in their vocabulary than what you're teaching them. And then when they get grown, they're just throwing the F-bomb all around whenever they get ready. It's just all over the place. I work with a guy, and that's where he started his sentence with F and N with it. That's when you know he threw the word with a sentence. He called you that word, and that's it. You know I can talk now. But this is what we have to do. With this verbal communication is real serious that we have to be able to hone our skills so we can find us and get a good job, amen. Because evil, the Bible said, be not deceived, evil communications. The evil communication is going to corrupt how you act. It's not just what they're saying. What they're saying is going to turn into what they start doing. So you gotta be real careful with that with our children. Then when you get to them being an adult, some of these adults we just not going to be able to help. God going to have to save them. God going to have to transform them. And we just can't really worry about them as much as we can with the kids. That's just the way I am. I pray that God can change a lot of hearts and things, but I'm focused in with the kids because we got a chance with them. But some of these adults, their mind is made up. And they go to church and they preach it and they do whatever they want to do, but their mouths are filthy. So we're going to start on the verbal part of this communication. We've already went through most of it. There was a time on earth when the entire earth spoke one language. Everybody communicated, no matter where you were. You get on, if you go over east, north, south, east, west, wherever you run into a person, you all can communicate because everybody spoke one language. So, and everybody speaking one language, it made this group of people powerful. Whenever we can all communicate and get with one accord and speak the same thing, that will make us a powerful group. And that's what happens within the church, that we all have the same dialect, but we don't have the same meaning to it. Some person will say one thing and the next person say the same thing, but they're meaning two different things. And this is what's happening with our language and our communication. We have to start speaking what we mean. If we do that, we'll be in good shape and we can understand each other. Things get lost in the translation. Genesis 10. We're going to start reading 1 through 5. Genesis, the 10th chapter. I think this is with all these words I couldn't pronounce. Is that word? Oh yeah, there was the words I couldn't. Yeah, it was. Even with the phonetic spelling, I have problems with words. You know, and I could spell these words, I just can't pronounce them. I'm a really good speller, but boy, when they get to pronouncing, it's like, oh, what did I just write? And it's written right. You ready, reader? You got them?
Amen.
Amen. Watch this reader get these words.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah.
Sons of Noah,
Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood.
After the flood. These sons was born after the flood would be Noah's grandkids. All right, let's read.
The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rephath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families in their nations.
Well, give my reader a hand clap. Hey, man, whoa. Boy, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm telling you, the school pays off. Send your babies to school. It pays off. Now, that fifth verse says, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. That means they was all speaking differently. But then we go to chapter 11, start with 11 and 1.
Amen. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech.
This is what we're going to have to learn how to read the Bible. The Bible is not necessarily in chronological order all the time. So don't ever get saying, well, everything in chapter 10 happened before chapter 11. No, if you read any novels and things like that, sometimes they go back and forth, especially in autobiographies. You got to really keep up in autobiography what's happening. So we're not taught how to read a lot of things, and sometimes we'll just focus in, and then people will just say this right here is a discrepancy in the Bible. A lot of people argue about this, that, well, chapter 10 says we have all these different languages, and then chapter 11 says it was one language. So you got to be real careful that you don't get caught up in some of these wild arguments. Amen? Now, come on, keep reading.
And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there.
Read.
And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven.
So all these people had the same language, the same mindset, and they all agreed. They all actually agreed on this thing. This is the thing that we have issues with at any other type of level, even at school, at work, at church. We can't have a consensus. People don't want to agree on the same thing, and then some people will say, well, that's what I was talking about, but they don't understand how to express what they were saying. You have to really be able to express what you're saying in a group setting. That's really crucial, because you're going to feel like nobody is agreeing with you. You're going to always feel that your idea is not warranted. Nobody want to listen to you. And it's not that. It's that you're not able to express what you want to say. Go ahead and read.
And let us make us a name.
And let us make these people. The whole thing about this tower was to make themselves a name. Read.
Lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
And these people already knew what the outcome was. Some things that we do and some things that we want to accomplish, we already know the outcome of it. We already know that if we don't do it the right way, what God's going to do. But we want to do it our way anyway. And we're going to try to force our way. Read.
And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower.
Because these guys were putting that thing together. They was all working together. Everybody understood each other. Everybody was working in unison. It was a concert. Everything was going according to plan. Read.
Which the children of men builded.
Read the Bible.
And the Lord said, behold, the people is one.
The people is one. All the verbal talking they're doing, all the communication, everything is going according to plan. There was no argument going on. There was no disagreement happening. Everybody was doing their part because they got to be one. Whenever you're one, you're a unit, you're a body, you're an army, whatever. These words don't have S in it. It's not plural, but it's many. Amen. So he said the people is one. Read.
And they have all one language.
They speak the same dialect. They speak the same word. Everybody understands each other. Read the Bible.
And this they begin to do.
And they begin to do exactly what they said they're going to do. Read the book.
And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
Do you not know if we all put our minds together, if we all talk about the same thing, there's nothing that we cannot do. One person can throw the whole thing off. One person. It always happens on you got your football teams, and then you got this one person don't want to do right. You got your basketball, all these teams that you have together, and then you got that one athlete that want to be the top gun, want to be the top dog, and things like that. And that just throws the whole kilter of the team off. I don't care how good the rest of the people are. It slows down process. It slows down everything. And now you want to regroup just to try to make this person happy, just try to appease this person. Read the book.
Go to. Let us go down and there confound their language.
And God said the only way I can stop them is kill the communication. And that's what the devil does to us. He wants to kill our communication. Whenever we have meetings, the SWP or the Brotherhood or even just a small group having a meeting, we have to get in that meeting. We have to come out with a consensus. I don't care if you don't want to do it. You can't be in there with this mindset and you done locked down and you're not going to talk now. You done locked down and you don't even want to say nothing to nobody. You walk out of there, you're not saying nothing to nobody. The next time you see it, the whole group, you still a little warm. This is killing our process. This is killing us being able to do what we need to do. And it's going to all start because you're going to sit and say what you want to say at the meeting. And once you say it, and if people don't agree with you and things don't go your way, you're still going to have to just suck it up and join in. This is a hard thing to teach. This is a hard thing for people to grasp because we all have our own ideas. We all came from different walks. We all came from different backgrounds. If you believe it or not, children communicate the way they was taught at home. If you've been cursed out, call this, call that, and then these little kids grow up and they start cursing. That's why you got them on the bus stop, in the grocery store. You hear all these little kids that's cursing. That's all they hear all day is curse words. So we can't just you say that's a little bad boy. No, them parents are not doing their job, or they letting these kids hang around other people, or they letting these kids watch things on television they have no business watching. They're not policing and patrolling what the kids are getting. And if that's not, then the kids' verbal communication now becomes this vile, nasty language. And these little boys talk to these girls like they see these pimps talking to people on television. Just because we don't see it happening, don't think it's not happening. This is where our problem is. What we don't see, we act like it's not happening. Ask Brother Malone. He drives a school bus. Ask some of these teachers. Ask some of these people how these kids are acting. And it's horrendous. And if you get a group of them together somewhere, man, they'll try to take over. They're cussing out police. They're cussing out everybody. But what they did, guess what they do? They all agreed on this is how we going to act. That's why it's hard to deal with a group of them, because ain't nothing, all of them going to be bad. But we can't all be good. Read.
Go to. Let us go down and there confound their language.
Confound their language,
That they may not understand one another's speech.
That they may not understand one another's speech. And this is what God did so they won't build this tower, because he said they didn't put their mind to it now. Whatever they imagined, it's getting there. They was on their way. So he said, I have to make sure that they don't understand one another. Now they can't work together. Their goals is shot. Somebody was making bricks, somebody was over here making mortar. Now they didn't know what's going on because they couldn't understand each other anymore. Read.
So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city.
And this is where we go back to verse 10, where in chapter 10, verse 5, where they said they was all scattered. This is why you can't read the Bible thinking that everything is in chronological order. So some of these curses we hear about in the Bible called generational curses are actually things that are taught at the house. I'm really not a big proponent of generational curses. I believe people are taught what they're doing. There's some things you're cursed with, but just because your parents was witchcrafting and doing all this other stuff, if they don't teach you, you're not going to know. Am I right about it? I think everything we do is taught. And help me out. Talk back. Somebody taught you. Yeah. I don't think you naturally inherit things like that. You watching this teacher. Okay. I mean, yeah, you around it, things like that. I agree with that point. I agree that the exposure is what's going to make you curious, and you're going to start it anyway. But some of these things that we call generational curses are just stuff that you learn from your parents, you learn from somebody else, and especially when we deal with our money and how we pay our bills, and we want to stay in the ghetto, and we don't think we could do any better. Those are not actually curses. Those are just things of how we was brought up and raised, and the way our parents did it. We're going to do it the way our parents did it, but our parents did it according to the way they knew. Yes, it's a pattern, it's a system, especially when it comes to education. If nobody in your family goes to college, very seldom people are going to go to college until somebody start going to college. Then they raise their children and start going to college. It's just something that was never talked about, just was not verbalized in the house. Nobody in my house told me to go to college. Absolutely nobody. Only thing I knew about college was sports. It wasn't even in my mind that you have to go to college to be a lawyer or a doctor or anything. I was not taught that. I'm already a senior in high school, and I was not told these things. I don't care how old you are. You just ain't go just pick up on things till somebody introduce them to you. As far as being a husband, I didn't know how to be a husband until I got married. I didn't see nobody being no husband. I didn't know how daddies and husbands work. So your marriage is going to be a little rocky because you don't know what you're doing. I don't care how old you are. I didn't really learn how to be a really good husband until I was 38 when I joined this church. I already destroyed a marriage because I didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't all. A lot of people always blame the other person. I'm not blaming my first wife because I could have made that thing work out a lot better if I knew what I was doing. Because the man going to have to figure this thing out himself. But it all starts with communication. It all starts verbally. Somebody has to sit down and talk to you. And that's why we need to make sure that we need to guard our words real carefully. Because your words can come back to bite you. And that's why, what was that, Colossians 4 and 6, they have it seasoned with salt. You better season them because you got to eat them. You want them to taste good. No, they're out there now. They're out there. And the devil is the prince of the air anyway. He can get your words and twist them around. You say one thing and they hearing another thing because they spirit. Do that always. What is that word? Magic. Right. Yes. The exact same way. Me too. Right. Magic words. And you know, a lot of this start with the leadership. And that's why we have to try to put people in place that know how to talk to people. You have to put people in place that know how to listen. If you don't have those two things going, that auxiliary, that group, or your whole church, it's just going to be chaotic. It's going to be chaotic, and that was the problem we had in that Numbers 20. Was that when they didn't want to listen to Moses? Yeah, let's get us number 20. Numbers 20. Numbers 20. No, I don't think it's 20. Hold up. 12. Chapter 12. Numbers chapter 12. Start with verse 1. Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Amen.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married.
Something they don't agree with. When you don't agree with something, you don't always have to say anything. You don't always have to say stuff. If you don't agree with it, just let it happen. You're not in charge. You're not running nothing. You just one of the people. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Him marrying this lady has nothing to do. That's what did they say? Because of the Ethiopian woman. That's why they spake against him. Because of it's not their. I don't understand why people have to think they have to say something because they don't agree with it. Read.
For he had married an Ethiopian woman.
This is his wife. It ain't your wife. So why are you speaking against the leader? Read.
And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses?
So now God is only speaking to you, speaking through you. He can't speak to nobody else. This is when in the church we get really, we think God is speaking to everybody. At all times, God is just actually speaking to me. He's not just in visions and dreams. No, he's talking to me. Read.
Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it.
I'm going to tell you something. When you be talking, God hears what you say. That's why you got to watch your words. He's going to hold your words to you. Whatever you say, he's going to hold those. That's your words. You said it. God don't make us say anything. When we say something, God going to hold those words that came out of our mouth to you. When you say you're going to do something, I'm going to start praying more and you don't pray more. I'm going to start fasting an extra day. You never fast. You said it. God ain't demanded you to do none of that stuff. You said it. And the Lord heard it. Read.
Now the man Moses was very meek.
Moses wasn't trying to start no problem. Moses just sat back. Read.
Above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
Read.
And the Lord spake suddenly
uh-huh.
unto Moses, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam.
Read.
Come out ye 3 unto the tabernacle of the congregation.
Now they heard him speak. Okay, now you want to hear the Lord speak? I'm going to speak to you now. Come on out. Read.
And they 3 came out.
And they all came out too. Read the Bible.
And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud.
He got close to him now. I'm going to get in your face. You don't want God get in your face. Read.
And stood in the door of the tabernacle.
Right there where they were. Read.
And called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth.
Now y'all step forward. Y'all come up here. I need to talk to y'all. Read.
And he said, Hear now my words.
Now hear my words. Read.
If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream.
If there's a prophet, I'm going to make myself known unto him in a vision and in a dream. That's how he know about me. Read.
My servant Moses is not so.
Now, Moses, I don't do Moses like that. Read.
Who is faithful in all mine house.
I don't have a problem with Moses. Moses is faithful. Moses does what he's supposed to do. Moses is a true man of God. Read.
With him will I speak mouth to mouth.
Me and Moses hold a conversation. This is what God is saying. Listen, God said, I don't speak to everybody like that. I speak to most people in dreams and in vision. But with Moses hears my voice. Moses hears what I have to say. Read.
Even apparently, and not in dark speeches.
And it's plain and it's clear. He can understand every word that I say. He don't have to try to get no interpreter and try to figure out what it is. No, it's plain. Read.
And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold.
And he talks like me. He looks like me. Read.
Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
Now, if Moses is like me, you should have been afraid to speak against Moses. And this is why we have so many issues in a lot of churches that people are just speaking against the leaders. Just because we don't see the wrath of God don't mean the wrath of God didn't take place. And this is a lot of people just missing this point and wonder why I'm going through. Just because you don't see God, what he does to people who are disobeying and going and being so rude and cruel to his men and women of God, just because you don't see the outcome, don't think they're not getting punished. Because a lot of times we got to see somebody get a whooping. I want to see them fall. I want to see this happen to them. We want to see. Some of that, God's business is his business. When he handles and disciplines, he let him do that. Well, your job is to continue to bless this person, continue to treat this person right, even though God is doing something to him. You cannot sit and try to look for the punishment and try to create the punishment yourself. That's what we try to do. I'm going to stop talking to him. I'm going to stop blessing him. I'm not going to do this. No, you treat that person the same way you've been treating them. And let God handle the judgment. Read.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them.
And they made God mad because they talked about the man of God. Read.
And he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle.
Read.
And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
I told you, see, they got instant judgment there. But see, something is happening to some of these people, and we just don't know what's going on. Something can happen on the inside. Something can happen 5, 10, 15 years down the line. It's not for us to figure that out And there's too many of us want to see, well, look like they done got away. I might as well start doing what they're doing. No, your judgment might come swift. Read.
And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
Read the Bible.
And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly.
See, sometimes it's too late. Sometimes we say things that we want to take it back, but you done said it now. That's why some people get popped right in the eye. Boom. Some people ain't going to just listen to you. Some people just go attack. They're not going to argue back. You sitting up here arguing and fussing, and, man, they just all up on you. That happened, boy, we had this little guy in school. That dude was short, but if you get him mad, he's just going to attack. He didn't say nothing. He was just like he took a dog off the leash. He's gone. So you got to watch who you talking to and what you saying. You don't know people. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know if they had a bad day. So that's why we got to be nice to everybody. I'm going to treat everybody right. Amen. Read.
And wherein we have sinned.
And he know he done sinned. Read.
Let her not be as one dead.
He pleading for his sister. Boy. Read.
Of whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
Read the Bible.
And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee.
Boy, they both want their sister healed. Read.
And the Lord said unto Moses, If her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that, let her be received in again.
Sometimes God said, no, you're going to pay. I ain't going to just take it right off. No, we're going to have to let somebody else know this is real. That's why sometimes God would do things and let us see it to remind us that he's that type of God, a God of wrath, as long as we're a God of love. Everything ain't peaches and cream. If you get God upset, if you just cross the line with God, man, he could just take us out at any time. But people don't cherish their salvation. People just, they play with it so much. It's real loosely with their salvation. Say anything. Read.
And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again.
Everything had to stop. Read.
And afterward, the people removed from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran.
Amen. We gotta learn to communicate. We can't just go off. We can't get mad. We can't just say what we want to say. We got to stay within the confines of the Bible. Everything is all about the Bible. Everything is about God. This is our guide to living. This is book right here. Whatever we're thinking about, we want to do. Search the scriptures. I bet you find it in there. If you want to do things right, search the scriptures, and you're gonna find a way to do it. Anybody have any thoughts, comments? Want to teach next week? No hands went up then. Amen. Amen. Well, I hope somebody got somebody. Verbally. Verbal communication. Telephone. We got to be careful with our telephone. We can't leave open gaps in our conversation. Whenever you want to say something, mean what you say. Say what you mean. Because people are going to take it like that. Well, I didn't mean it like that. Well, you said it like that. And when you have all these different languages, and this is why God separated them and have all these different languages, because you lose stuff in translation. Even when somebody's translating, somebody could be mad and speaking, but the translator going to say it's smooth and easy. No, they mad. So you done lost that translation. You done lost how I really feel when I'm talking to you. The words came out, but no, it didn't come out like I needed to come out. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna listen, and we've already learned how to listen. So we gotta learn how to talk. And what we're gonna do? We're gonna say, and let your words be what? Few. Few. I told you I could go all day without talking if nobody called me. Man, if you don't call me, that's why I'm kind of got into texting a little bit. I text you back now. Yeah, but after 2 or 3 texts, we're going to have to call now because we're going to lose something in this communication after a while. That's like we're going to do it. We're going to do at least 2 or 3 more in the verbal. There's a lot of the verbal, man. That Bible full of that. Amen. Anybody need prayer? You ain't have to stand up. Nobody don't need prayer. We're going to just leave it just like this. We don't need the ushers to get on up. Nothing. Sister Linda? Okay. All right. We don't want to work our ushers to death. Amen. We'll give the Lord a hand clap. That's all right.